We're on another town hall. We're here with two of my campaign staff members, two very good campaign staff members. Mary, who you've met before. Mary, you want to say hi real quick?
Yep. Hey everyone. My name's Mary. I work for the campaign. I've been doing the field side, and I've also been recently doing some help on the finance side as well.
Hi, Mary. Well, great to have you.
Thanks.
And you're moving more into finance now, right?
Yeah, trying my hand at that.
Like that?
Yeah, it's definitely it's a lot of reading, whereas making calls, it's easy to well, there's a lot of folks that maybe you don't, just like walking doors, not everyone answers the door or is home. It's just like that with making calls. So I'd have some gardening videos up, be able to do some other things. But yeah, so it was a nice way to balance that. But with finance, it's just like, okay, I gotta write this paragraph about pop pop pop. So it's a little bit of a different style of work.
You're doing the pack work for like.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's important stuff though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you're doing it. I think our campaign manager Nicole, she said to me she wants to use you for that kind of stuff because we need the brain power. So thanks for doing it.
Oh yeah,
I appreciate it.
Happy to do it.
And we have Amber Lantern, baby. You know what that is?
I do not.
It's a Cindy Appleton, if you're listening, the Amber Lantern is a bar in Warsaw.
Well, thank you for referring to me as a bar, Nate. That's great.
No, sorry. Sorry about that.
Good time.
The first time I went to the Amber Lantern, this guy, the video's on YouTube. Cindy Appleton, if you're watching, I hope you remember this. And the guy put his arm around me and said, "Amber Lantern, baby." Sorry.
Yikes.
Oh boy. So listen, Amber, who are you?
My name is Amber Hill, and I am a field organizer on the campaign. I have been making phone calls, excessive phone calls every single day on the campaign, and enjoying myself helping others in the name of Nate.
Well, listen, I love having you around. It's fun as heck.
It is great.
you and the one thing I feel sad about is you made the awesome Lockport headquarters. You got it all set up perfectly. And Mary got the Geneseo headquarters set up perfectly. We have these two beautiful campaign offices that have never seen the light of day.
That's true. We worked really hard. I know I probably put a good 20 hours into making that office spick and span and hanging signs. And
how about you, Mary? How much time did you put in the Geneseo office?
Oh man. I was finishing up my other job, so I was like working there, and then Hunter, he'd work in the day at the office, and then I'd take the evening. So we were like cleaning. That was the old dentist office, so a lot of fun finds there. And the community was super generous about helping us set up. We got a printer donated, a bunch of a few coffee machines, garbage cans, paper products, a staple gun.
It's scary because it is so well set up, and
it's there.
It's sad. It's all sitting there for no one to use. Mm-hmm. There's even snacks in there. You even put snacks in there.
Yeah, we got so many snack donations. Our phone bank and volunteers were keeping us really well fed.
Let me say hi to Leah's watching. Dan, hey Dan, how are you? Jane, always good to see my friend Jane. Good to see you. I come online. I apologize if that breaks up the conversation. So let's talk about what you guys do for a second. Well, first let's talk about your background. I'm going to go with Mary first, and I'm going to go into Amber. Is that okay? So we met Mary before. Mary grew up in Geneseo, right? Raising hell. No.
Well, maybe a little bit.
Egging houses and turning over garbage cans every night. No, what were you up to? You're a
Yeah.
good student, obviously.
I mean, yeah, that's what they tell me. I think one of the great parts about being in Geneseo is that it's a small enough community where, um, where you can do a lot of different extracurriculars, where like there's not just like the jocks or the music geeks or, in order to, it's small enough in order to make everything work, everyone kind of has to pitch in. So instead of, I think, I had friends growing up at larger schools that had to have like the one thing they were good at. And that was like the one thing they did. But, I think, I remember growing up and all my friends, we were really fortunate where we got to, we got to be on the track team and then go to the musical and be in the band and chorus. And that was
How great is that?
That was a really rich way of growing up. I learned a lot.
How many kids live in that town? Approximately.
There's about 5,000 people, and then when the students come, that about doubles.
Yeah. It's such a cool town. I love Geneseo. So far, I would love to have grown up there. And you're not too far away from Dansville, which we were talking about earlier. In a little corner of Dansville to NY27. I think Dansville's I love going to Dansville.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff going on there. A lot of like cool revitalization and neighborhood work.
Yeah. It's just, listen, for people who, like, it almost seems like there's a wall up to people in Western New York. Somewhere around, I don't even know. I don't know, but Geneseo is just beyond that wall. So, like, most people who live here don't really travel out that far unless they're going to Letchworth and they don't stop. But those little towns, Warsaw, Geneseo, Dansville, there's a lot to see. A lot of history, a lot of fun little shops and restaurants, a lot of great places to go.
And kind of like about that, like, Letchworth Park got voted as the #1 state park in the nation because, it got so much publicity. Do you remember that summer that winter where the fountain in Iris, it like froze because it was so cold? You might have seen that photo online. It went like viral. So from there, like we got a lot of visitors, and there's a lot of like local economic development going on right now because there are just under 1 million visitors that go, that visit Letchworth State Park. Most of them are day trippers from like the Buffalo, Rochester area. And they've, so there's a lot of, the local municipalities have a group called the Letchworth Gateway Villages. And we're kind of capitalizing around this identity of the Genesee Valley. And building more like rural destinations.
The type of recreation offered by the Genesee Valley will last through pandemics or anything else because the outdoors, it's beautiful. I got to say hi to Seth, to my good friend always, John Bondi, one of the best people I've ever met. I love John and his family, and Mike and Lisa. Thanks for all tuning in. Yes, I love the area. I really do. I think everybody in Western New York loves Letchworth, but it's really more than Letchworth. All those places are great. And thank you to the wonderful Denise Coffey, one of my supporters and friends, who runs the Glen Iris Inn, and what a great place that it is. Okay, Amber, where'd you go?
Yes. I grew up on the Tuscarora Reservation in Lewiston, New York.
So you're a Native American woman.
I just prefer Native. Yes.
You're a Native woman.
Yes, I am.
But last time I checked, you're from Canada originally.
My family's from Canada. Yep, and I have dual status between here and Canada. My family's from Six Nations, which is close to Brantford, Ontario.
So if you get COVID, you can just go up and get treatment for free.
I could do that. Or again, I work for UPS, and we have.
It's a sad reality.
It is unfortunately a reality, especially during my night job. So, we've been being very careful at UPS as well. So, it's a little scary.
Double duty. You're working double duty at UPS at night.
Yes, and then for you during the day. I've always had 2 jobs. I've been a single mother for 12 years, and I put her through private school since she was little until this past year. And That was, as you know, Nate, with your two sons, children are expensive, especially if you want to, give them everything you got. So I've always had two jobs, just lots of coffee and, lots of holding my eyes open.
And you're also a great athlete. Let's not joke about this. You don't have to be humble on this broadcast.
Yeah.
You're like one of the best. You're one of the best lacrosse players Western New York's ever produced.
Yeah.
Be honest.
Am I turning red?
I got the former deputy mayor of Geneseo. How great is that on our team?
The municipal elections haven't happened yet. I'm still the deputy mayor, dude.
Sorry. Still the deputy mayor.
Mary, I got to ask you. I'm gonna flip back to Ambrose. But how great is it to grow up in the town you grew up in to become the deputy mayor? How proud you must be. I'm proud of you.
It's pretty awesome.
By the way, Geneseo, you did really well. She is awesome. She really is. Reversing back to you, how proud are you? The native, you're this native woman representing a native sport, and you grew up here, and you tell people what you're doing. Tell the teams you played on. Don't be shy.
Oh goodness, all the teams that I've I don't think the broadcast would be,
well, Syracuse University D1, right?
I play at Syracuse University. I'm training for my 5th World Cup for the Haudenosaunee Nationals right now. I've been the captain for the Haudenosaunee Nationals since our inception in 2006. 2007 was my first World Cup. I actually, a little known fact, played when I was 14 weeks pregnant with Jordan. That was interesting because I fell on my stomach when I was pregnant with her. And had to go to the hospital, and no one knew I was pregnant except for my best friend / general manager. So she stayed overnight with me in the hospital. But yeah, Jordan ended up being okay. She was 5 weeks early, and she was still 7 ounces and 21 inches long, and now she's bigger than me. But yeah, so 5 World Cups, and I play also
5 World Cups.
4, training for my 5th. I also play for the Six Nations Snipers for the Arena Lacrosse League, which is an all female box lacrosse league in Canada.
How can I get a jersey?
Oh, I'll get you a jersey, Nate. Come on.
I want to get a jersey. You kidding me? I'm a jersey guy.
I will give you a jersey if you come play with the Buffalo Brigade team, which is a co-ed throw around team with me. After COVID is over, we usually play on Saturdays for the Buffalo Bandits game. You're coming. I have an extra helmet for you. It's helmet and gloves, no contact, although some of us hit each other.
I don't use helmets. I'm old school.
We're going to give you a helmet, Nate.
I'll wear my helmet. I'll play. Are you kidding me? I don't know how to play, but I'll play.
You know what? Some of them also don't know how to play, so it's okay.
But I gotta say, Amber, the videos of you just absolutely taking people out. You look nice, but you got a tough side. Yeah.
So when I play field, I'm a goalie, and that's where I make my money for World Cup. And then on the box side, when I play for the Six Nations Snipers, I'm a creaseman, which means I play defense, and anyone that comes in the middle, I get to lay out. Just unless you hit him from behind.
Alice Gerard wants to play. He wants to go to a game. Alice, you're not going to a game. You're putting a helmet on, and then we're going to give you a stick. You're going to play.
I got plenty of extra helmets and plenty of extra sticks. Everybody is welcome. They don't call it a medicine game for no reason.
Right. So listen, I got to ask you, Mike, can I talk about your background a little bit, or you can be? Is that okay? You didn't say no. I mean, obviously.
No, absolutely.
So you grew up on the Tuscarora Reservation, which is a corner. It's in Lewiston.
Yeah, Lewiston. Lewiston happens in Sanborn.
And it's small.
Yeah, like 5.2, 5.4 square miles. Very small.
And it used to be huge. And then over the years, it got smaller and smaller and smaller.
It was bigger before they built the reservoir. Yes, that was all nation territory that they took without getting.
And there was some serious protests about it back in the day.
Absolutely.
Fire burning in the streets and all that stuff.
When the water's low, actually, you can still see the houses in there. If you go to the top of the reservoir.
The houses that are in the reservoir?
Yes. And when the water's really low, you can go in there, you see the roofs of the houses. Because they just built
amazing. I did
Yeah.
not. They flooded the houses?
And they just, built up around it.
Why isn't that been more highlighted? I got to go look for it.
Yes, you do. You can get a bunch of stuff online.
But I was telling you though, like I've been through the Tuscarora Reservation probably a million times. Everyone lives around here has.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't know where. Don't take this the wrong way. I'm just being open.
Yes.
Don't use the lacrosse moves on me. I don't know where people live there. Like, I don't know where the downtown, or like, I don't know where the houses are. Like, I've been through there a million times.
We don't have like a downtown. We have like smoke shops and gas stations, and
I obviously know where those places are, but like, where do people live? It seems like it's difficult to find because I've lived here my whole life.
Well, it's a little. I mean, it's back roads, right? We don't really have a lot of streetlights unless you're by the school and our community center.
And they have a great community center.
It's beautiful. It's where we used to have our ceremonies, until we're building our new longhouse, which is exciting.
You're building a new longhouse. So where they used to do like traditional dance ceremonies and stuff, they used to do it and you participated in that stuff.
I do, yes.
Yeah, or you do currently.
Yes.
You're going to invite me to go see it one of these times.
Sure.
Maybe not. You don't have to.
I don't know if that stuff's for us, Nate.
It's kind of
okay.
I mean, right? Sometimes people come, sometimes outsiders come.
Don't worry. I get your drift. So what about the? I gotta ask one more question. So how was it growing up on the reservation? It must have been a very tight community, I guess, because y'all know each other. You're all like, or am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely correct. I mean, my cousins grew up across the road. My uncle used to live across the street. Like I was telling you the other day, it was like it was almost like taking a trip back in time, where you walk down the road to your friend's house, and you'd hear your mom yelling out the door like dinner's ready, or you guys need to come back. The sun was going down. Yeah, you just walked everywhere, and everybody just knew everybody, and people pop in and play a game of Scrabble with my dad, and I knew everybody's coffee and tea orders, and everybody would just visit, and I miss that.
So how are you going to help me? You're going to help me understand how I can help address the issues of the Native community when I win, right?
I absolutely will. Sam, nephew, who's also on your team, and I would love to do that with you.
We have two Native women on this campaign. Yeah, Sam,
you do.
Listening, we miss Sam. Okay, so sorry to go into that. I thought it was fun to talk about both your backgrounds. So now you're working on this campaign, and I think I want to give you guys tons of credit for what you've done. And listen, saying all what I'm going to say now, of course, makes our campaign look good, but I don't care. It should look good for what you guys have done. I mean, they should be writing articles about it. It should be, everyone should know what you've done. It's amazing, really, what's happened. And there's scriptures about the man who does a good act in public he has his reward. I don't care. I'm not looking for rewards, but I am looking for the fact that you guys deserve some recognition for providing what I can only describe as constituent services when we don't have a congressman. It's amazing what you've done. So we put together that guide, right? So let's talk about it. Mary, why don't you talk about it a little bit? We put together a guide, right?
I guess kind of just started off that, once COVID started happening and it was really becoming clear how this is going to be affecting people's material conditions, we realized that, just calling around and saying, oh, have you heard about the election? Like, do you know who you're going to vote for that day? That wasn't really, like a sensitive or like appropriate way to be talking to people when, so many other things are urgent. So we started developing this guide that has resources from all the counties that are in the district that is the size of Rhode Island. Went by compiling that. And once we had that, we were able to start calling people up, asking how they were doing, how we could help, how they were doing on things like rent and food, how they were feeling emotionally. And then, if they needed some support, directing them to to those resources.
So Sam and Kate put together, I think they had the original ones that put it together. They put together this massive guide. Basically, every food bank, every mutual aid organization, you name it, legal aid, everything we could get together. And it took a while. But, let's be honest. When the COVID hit, we were way ahead. And none of us really felt like campaigning. So we all talked and we said, what can we have this team. How can we use this team for good? And of course, we don't have a lot of resources, but we have really smart people like Amber, like Kate, like Nicole, like Mary. We have a good team. So I said, let's put our brains together and see how we can help other people. And I know we gave away supplies. Thank you for doing that, Mary. I think you spearheaded that. We gave away all the hand sanitizer and all the toilet paper. We gave our computers to students that needed them to use during the COVID time. And then we turned our call time people into rather than a fundraising mechanism, we turned it into an outreach mechanism. And at first I was hesitant to do it because I said, if we do it like that, it's going to, people think it's some type of political ploy. But I think the reason why people didn't see it that way is because you guys were so darn sincere. And I think people felt that on the phone. So can you talk about that part of it a little bit?
You go, Amber.
Okay, I was going to say, do you want to go?
So
okay,
so I'm from the Nate McMurray campaign. Can I help you? They're like, get out of my face. The world's falling apart. No, go ahead.
Well, the first couple of days were a little testy, after we had just learned that it was spreading and we all needed to shelter in place. Of course, people are nervous. They're losing their jobs. They're scared. They don't know what's going on with the stimulus checks. So it's very important to me to not only just be calm on the phone, but have like a sense of urgency. So, of course, hi, this is Amber. I'm with Nate McMurray's campaign, and we're just calling to check in on you. We just want to make sure that you're okay. And we have masks. We want to be a resource for you if you need to be connected to any other community or government service. What can we help you with? And I would say probably 80% of the people would, oh my gosh, that is so, who are you with again? That is so nice of him. And, of course, I'm going to sing your praises because, you're my boss, but also you're a good guy. And, it was the whole team's idea, though. It wasn't like, hey, just do this so we look good. We actually care. We want to make sure people are okay out there.
I felt, should we even continue the campaign at one point? So I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah, very intense.
My first thought was, let's get our guys together and go do service. And then we were like, well, we're going to spread COVID doing that. Or I said, let's open up our offices and bring people in. And that was obviously not a good idea. So this is the best thing we could have done. Mary, can you tell me a story of someone you helped? And of course, by the way, hi, Jill. I see you out there. Hey, Dan. Can you tell me a story about somebody you helped, and of course, in an anonymous fashion, but can you share something?
Yeah. So I called up this person and they commented that at first, it was unclear whether people who were receiving Social Security disability were going to be able to get we colloquially call them freedom bucks, but I'm forgetting the term. The stimulus money, right?
Stimulus money,
right. So, I was like, looking into that, trying to figure that out. And then as we got a little closer, I saw, I was just like on my Facebook feed and I saw news that said, you need to file by this date. If it's unclear where you're coming from, you need to file, you need to do the extra filing. So I called her back and I said, hey, did you see this? Let's get you filed. They didn't have internet access. So I was able to just, be on my computer in my living room and help this person and their spouse file for it. And then they called me back about a week later and said that they'd gotten it deposited into their accounts. So if it wasn't for like that connection that we'd made, who knows if they'd been able to get that money. So that was like a real, just like a very direct way to see the difference that we were making. That was really energizing for me.
I'm
And I
glad
know,
you did it.
yeah, and I know Amber's got stories on stories on stories.
Amber, why don't you share one story with us?
Oh goodness. Well, I have several stories, just like Mary's helping people out. I had a lady from Niagara Falls that is currently getting chemo treatments and didn't have any masks. And I got masks for her and her husband and her child. I believe I put in 4 or 6 masks and a bunch of other stuff in the bag and dropped it off to her. So that felt good to help in that fashion when people don't have masks or they're reusing the paper ones. And they're like, oh, it's okay. I just let it sit for, a couple of hours. And I'm like,
Well, speaking of masks, can we talk about that for a second? The Jude Keys masks.
So Jude Keys.
Who is Jude Keys? Let me say
who
Jude
is
Keys
Jude Keys?
By the way, let me say who Jude Keys is first.
Okay.
Jude Keys is the toughest lady you'll ever meet and the funniest, kindest lady you ever meet. I met her years ago, probably 4 years at a protest, and she put a button on me, something in like I don't know what it said, but like I liked her spunk. And then when I first started my campaign for Congress a couple of years ago, I used to do interviews like this, but I used to do it with my camera, and you guys know how peculiar I can be, and I would edit these videos in bizarre fashions so people would watch them on my phone. And the first one I ever did was with Jude Keys.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, the first one I said, this lady is too fascinating not to talk about. I want to share her with the world. So I did an interview with her, and ever since then, we've been really, really close. You could probably still find the interview on my Facebook page somewhere. I mean, there's probably a trillion videos on there, but she's in there somewhere. But yeah, I love Jude. Anyway, so Jude was the button lady, but now she's become the mask lady.
Yes, she's become the mask lady. She makes these very, very nice masks. She puts like a metal or something pliable so it fits over your nose. She's using very comfortable elastic. She has even separated them into adult and children masks. She also took the time, which I can't thank her enough. She made 76 masks for all of our drivers, preload, and local store at UPS. So everybody got a mask.
Wow.
Yeah, and they were very nice masks. We made sure.
I was looking for one. I thought I had one in here. They're
Oh,
really,
I have one. I have one right here.
Yeah, put one on, please.
Well, I don't. This is one that all right. I was gonna give this. I keep a stash of masks here, because everybody always asks for masks. So
yeah, hers are great. They're real patriotic.
Look at those looks.
She is making ones that have like little donkeys on them for like the Democrats and fashionable.
Mine's red, white, and blue. I have it in the car. I gave them to my family, so they have them. But yeah, I mean her masks are great. I don't know how she's doing them. They're really well done. And
they're very well done.
Away.
Yeah, she does not want money. I have seen people multiple times say, how much do you want per mask? And she just asks them to donate to your campaign. She said, that's how you can pay. That's how you can pay me. You donate to Nate.
Jude also, for a while, she was the Jude the moving lady. Every time we didn't move anything, she'd bring that big.
She got rid of that truck. She got rid of that truck this past week. She was done being the moving lady.
Oh, by the way, I think if we do close the Lockport office, I have to get that chair out of there. I fell in love with that.
Oh my gosh! Do you want to tell people about your call chair? Because it's gross.
One time I did a video with it and I showed people it. The feedback was like, I can't vote for you anymore because of that chair.
It is. The chair came from the Salvation Army or something like that. Nicole went and picked it up, or she picked it out. She said, Nate would love this chair. And then she said, can you and Austin go get it with John? And I was like, and I think this is my second time meeting Austin. So I'm like, sure, like I can lift it. We'll do it together. We get there and Austin has a receipt, gives them the receipt. Oh, we're here to pick up this chair. The chair's over here. And we go. And I'm like, there was this really nice comfortable reclining chair, like a solid pattern, not a crazy 80s Red Foreman pattern on it. And I'm like, oh, that's got to be the chair. And she's like, puts her hands on the crazy Red Foreman chair. And she's like, no, it's this one. I'm like, all right, yeah, it's Nate.
What happened to the other one? What happened to the other one?
I don't know. It was so nice, Nate. It was really nice.
Listen, if I know Nicole, it was probably $2 cheaper to get the credit.
Probably. I didn't even look. I was like, wow, that's a really classy, nice chair. I might have to come back and get that myself. But no, you got.
Well, we have it. But the one. Wait, before I get off on this topic, the one we do have is so comfortable now. I'm so used to it. And also it's big enough for me.
Yes, so, that's true. It is big enough for you.
Like,
and I sprayed it down with bleach and scrubbed it. You're welcome before you sat in it.
Somebody here says, by the way, hey, how do I get signs? Mary? Amber?
What county are they in? Where are you located?
Well, let's tell them for every county. First of all, you can, for pretty much all information, you can email info@votmcmurray.com.
Yes.
If you need signs for Niagara area, Orleans, get a hold of Amber. Amber, how do they get a hold of you?
Amber at votemcmurray.com. Amber at votemcmurray.com.
And Mary, I don't think you're in charge of signs anymore because we closed the office. Who is in charge of signs? Hunter is, right?
Yeah, Hunter's doing signs. We're also, working on getting, we've also had like quite a few volunteers in Livingston County, Ontario, and Monroe County, just like saying, let me distribute signs for you. And Hunter's been really good at doing that efficiently.
So we're almost out of signs. So get them while they're hot. I'm going to tell you, we're not getting any more signs. I'm telling you, we're not. Because sadly, we figured out the hard way that signs don't win elections. What does win elections? Votes.
Votes.
Yes,
signs
sir.
don't vote.
So you guys are on the phones. Are people excited to vote for us?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. They absolutely are. And they're excited to volunteer as well.
Well, this is can I say something? Neither of you were part. Well, Amber, you were a little bit part of the last campaign.
Yeah, I canvassed a little bit for you. Yeah.
But you saw what was happening.
Oh, I saw, and my daughter, who was like 10 at the time, also saw, which I was not happy about. But yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah. Well, let's not talk about the bad part, but you saw the people getting involved and how fun that was.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was talking about going canvassing to Republican households that switched.
It was scary.
It was scary. But the good part was really good. And, I was energized. I got Jordan energized, my daughter. She had on her Vote McMurray shirt on for Congress. Oh, yeah, she was so proud to wear it. And she comes with me sometimes to drop off signs. She's like a professional sign putter in the yard person now. And we make sure she used to put them so they face the road. And I'm like, no, you have to see it from both sides. So now she like angles it up. She puts it in, she puts her foot on the stake. She's good. She's excited to do it.
To both you and Mary, it's, because you ran for office, but like Amber, you've run for office. But when you run for office on this level, and especially, if I can pat myself on the back, the way I do it, I try to have fun. And I try to make people have fun and keep people engaged. And the saddest thing about COVID, is obviously that we're losing thousands and thousands of people and no one seems to care. It's a tragedy what's happening in this country. But the effect on our campaign has been, it's been emotionally difficult for me because, I don't get to see Matt. I don't, who I love. And I don't get to see Sam. I don't get to see Nicole. Usually, I don't get to see Kate. I don't get to see you two. I don't get to see everybody. And I think when we see each other regularly, it's so much fun to bond. And in the early days of the campaign, we had some of that. And then not only us, but when we have events and we get to meet the community, that's where you find people like Jude Keys. That's where you find people like Jill. That's where you find people like Alice, who's watching right now. You meet them out in the campaign field and you have events and you engage. And can you talk about what it's like to be part of a major campaign in solitude?
Go ahead, Mary. Oh goodness. I know.
Yeah. So I was, one of the reasons that I applied for this job was that I was just like really excited to to, because we were kind of thinking that once we'd have that Ontario County. So I was really excited to sort of like be in charge of a space and be in charge of like making it welcoming and, and hosting people there. And I felt, so I was really excited to be empowered in that way, and had like all these really awesome plans. But so it was hard to transition from that and realize that that wasn't going to be, what this would be, that in order to, but so it was hard to transition from that and realize that that wasn't going to be, what this would be, that in order to like, get our ultimate goal, which is like to help you win, Nate, we'd have to, take some other, take some other tactics. So I definitely think that, Slack has been really helpful, sort of like a workplace app that lets us all chat. And our staff calls, that even those, couple hours a week of just staying linked to everybody and hearing about what everyone's doing, that would kind of be that, that sort of down chat time, that you'd have in an office, getting that and some of that camaraderie has been, maybe more energizing than it would have been, than it would be normally, because it's like, oh right, I'm part of the team.
At least we have technology, right? At least we have technology.
I'm feeling really fortunate with that.
Well, I know you guys have those like marathon Zoom meetings. I don't engage in them. Sorry,
Well,
they go on for hours, guys. What are you eking about? Are you agreeing with me? They could be a little bit tedious.
wait, are you talking about the team calls or are you talking about the Sunday fun day calls?
I'm listen, I get on the team calls, I give the high level updates, and I'm off. The Sunday fun day, I'm not going to touch.
No, you should totally touch it. It's going to be a great time.
No. You guys do that. Is that fun?
It's totally fun. Yeah.
I heard you guys play games and stuff together on there.
Yeah.
What games?
There's one that we played. It's kind of like an online Pictionary, where one person is the drawer and you have to type in what you think they're drawing. So that one, just some wholesome fun, just some wholesome campaign fun.
No, what's my standard? You might listen. Don't get the wrong idea, everybody out there. My whole policy is good, clean fun. If everyone's having good, clean fun, we're okay. So you guys feel more connected than I think we would have otherwise, because you're Skyping, you're Slacking, you're doing all that stuff.
Well, we're not slacking. We're just
you're using Slack.
Yeah.
Right. No, you're working like crazy. You've made, the two of you by yourself, incredibly, have made 20,000 calls. Is that possible?
Oh, yeah.
Well, do you see the bags under our eyes? Yes, it's possible.
Listen, everybody. 20,000 calls by these two smart, intelligent women. Thank you so much for being part of my team. I'm humbled by you. I really am. I'm so glad to have you as my team.
Thanks.
And I thank you for seeing past my frailties and shortcomings. I try my best, but when I have people like you on my team, it's a high standard to live up to, and I appreciate it. Anything else you want to share before we close this up? I'm happy to have you guys want to use this as your soapbox about anything you want to share. Go ahead.
Don't you vote.
Go ahead. What? What's that you're saying?
Go ahead, Mary.
Mary, go first.
No, I was just like, it's all about your message, Nate. This is the Nate McMurray show.
Oh, sorry. Well, my message is simple. My message is that we are all in this together, and we should look at America as more of a family than a bunch of people who hate each other and want to take advantage of each other. And I don't know. I think if we don't learn, if I can get serious for a second, it's hard to watch the news. And I know we all say that, but the president's message right now is essentially, I'm going to kill you for my political campaign. That's his message. I will kill people for my political campaign. I don't care what the doctor says. I don't care what the CDC says. I don't care. I will kill you if it helps the economy, which I believe is in my political interest. And that's if you're, by the way, I think we're going to have a debate. And I'm going to say to my opponent, if I'm going to say to my opponent boldly, I don't care if I win or lose. I'm going to tell you right now, buddy, that history is watching and you're on the side of the bad guys. I'm going to tell them that because people, that's the way I may say it more eloquently than that, or maybe not, maybe worse. We have to tell people that this is where we're standing. Do you agree with me or do you think I'm crazy person? Go ahead. You can be honest.
Florence Reese asked us which side we were on. She made that whole song.
Yeah.
So I
would,
right. Oh, sorry, Amber.
I would say, no, you're fine. I would say your question was, do I think you're right or do I think you're a crazy person? And I would say yes to both. But I
How
think
dare you?
Listen, I think, well, all three of us have obviously run for office, and to run for office and in any capacity, I think you got to be a little crazy, to be honest with you. And Nate, you're pulling it off. We're all pulling it off, and we're really hanging in there as a team. And I mean, I don't see anything else from the other side that suggests that they're people and or team oriented, and we're doing it.
I'm going to tell you a story right now.
I'm ready.
About 8 months ago, when the powers that be were trying to push me out of this race and saying, "Why don't you run for the 60th Senate district? Why don't you do this? Why don't you?" I'm like, "We'll help you." I was resisting, and someone close to my opponent, his political advisor, sat me down and showed me the materials from the Club for Growth they were sending out about him, about Jacobs. And he said, "I don't think this is going to work. I don't think he's going to get the nomination." And I said, "Good, because I'm not dropping out no matter what happens." And he said, "Well," and they showed these flyers that were sent out that showed Jacobson sitting on a pile of money. I think he even had devil horns, and like they were pretty awful. And I said, "Well, I gotta say, why would he ever have sold his soul to those people anyway? Why would he have gone to the dark side to support Trump? He has to know that's the wrong thing to do." I said this to them.
Mm-hmm.
His political advisor's word for word response was, "It was the politically correct thing to do. He didn't have a choice." So that's where their mindset comes from. How can we convince people to vote for us? Not what do we stand for, not what is right or what is wrong. What is in our political interest? And that's never the way I'm going to be. Never. I'm never going to be that way. I told them that I'm not going to be that way. And listen, life is short. I hate to say that. I hate to be grim about it, but we're all going to be gone. And when I'm gone, I don't want my record to say he did everything in his power to sell out so he can go and call himself a congressman. He did everything in his record to sell out so he could, so he could have, a little bit nicer car. That's not the way I want to live. Thoughts on that, if any?
While I applaud you and appreciate you saying it, and I know that you're genuine and that's what you stand for, and that's why I work for you, because from day one, when I saw you up on that stage, like I told you, when I saw you in your first congressional debate, I knew you were the guy, and I could see, just like right now, I can see you thinking and the wheels are spinning. You're not just ready to sell your soul and say whatever it takes just to get to DC, and that's what I appreciate about you.
Thanks, I appreciate it. All right, last thing I'll say is that you remember the old days. I gotta say this to you, Amber. Amber Lantern, baby. You remember the old days. You remember the old days when I used to go to events and get booed by Democrats because they thought I was a corporate lawyer. I was like, I'm like, are you guys kidding me?
You got to see Nate's cowboy boots.
Someone out here asked, "Do you think it's appropriate to be a candidate and not shave?" Yeah, this is about 4 weeks worth growth, so I don't think I can grow a beard. Okay, Mary and Amber, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you being a little bit silly with me, and I'm grateful for you both. And please be happy, okay? Be safe. Keep your family safe, okay?
Thanks for having us, Nate.
Thanks,
Take care.
Nate.
Bye, guys.